Mauro, I could talk Japanese pro wrestling with you for hours, but I need to sneak in a few MMA questions or else I'm going to get fired. So let me toss you your way right now. Obviously, big hot topic right now, Jon Jones testing positive for cocaine use. Do you have any thoughts on this, and what disciplinary actions the UFC should take on him, if any?
Well, it's devastating, it's shocking, and it's obviously not a great way to kick off the year in MMA. You know, in MMA, a sport, again, that I've been involved in for over a decade. I love mixed martial arts. I love the essence of martial arts. I love the history, the war. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a local, regional show or pride fighting championships or the UFC. I've covered it at every level. I've called matches at every level, and every time I start commentating a match, you know, I realize just how incredible these people are that are putting their lives on the line and showcasing their skills, and to see one of the best ever. And the guy, again, at 27, the youngest UFC champion in history, a man who already pound for pound is the best, coming off the win in one of the most anticipated title fights. I said to people before the matchup, just due to the build and the credentials of Cormier and Jones, that I was as stoked as I was when Balor fought Kurkov in Pride in August 2005 in the most anticipated heavyweight title fight of its era. Now in the wake of it, we hear stories like everybody else. You know, Jon Jones has had a history of making these kinds of mistakes. We all know about the Bentley being wrapped around the telephone pole with two girls, neither of which were his fiancée. We've had the DUI coming out of that. Other issues, as anyone who has maybe been a young man, of which you and I both have been, you probably a lot more recent than myself, we all make mistakes. We all do idiotic things. But he is a guy with plenty of responsibilities, as the old saying goes. You know, with plenty of power comes plenty of responsibility. He has brands to worry about. He's signed by Reebok. He is the poster boy. He is the UFC light heavyweight champion, and for him to test positive for metabolites, in cocaine, which don't even get me started on what the commission and how the UFC has handled this, because frankly, I'm very confused and very frustrated. And I've had conversations in the past with the NSAC about how they deal with certain things, and you know, when you follow the WADA code, where out of competition drug testing, they don't test for recreational drugs like cocaine or marijuana. So the fact that now the commission is saying it was an anomaly or an administrative oversight, like there's got to be an debate here in many ways. And while the UFC's code of conduct covers substance abuse and all this stuff that's detrimental to the PR for the company and the reputation of the company, I know a lot of people are frustrated in that Dana White, when Jon Jones pulled out of UFC 152, I believe it was, when he didn't want to fight Chael Sonnen on short notice, Dana White railed against him, and now here he tests positive for cocaine, and he comes out firmly in support of him, and so I at the end of the day, I'm not one to judge. I have my own skeletons. We all have had our own issues in life, but because of the profile and because of who he is, I wish him best. I hope that he is able to conquer these demons, but there does have to be some repercussion regardless of what the rules are going in. I mean, why, if the commission and the UFC had to have known December 4th or shortly after when he was tested, the results came out, and there's many conspiracy theories, and some of them I understand why there are, because this past Saturday's pay-per-view, one of the biggest pay-per-views in a long time for the UFC, a company that's been struggling to get these big buy rates because of the fact they're running a lot more shows, and at the end of the day, going back to pro wrestling, combat sports is a star-driven business. It's all about the stars, individuals, and Jon Jones, one of the biggest. And now he's going in rehab, and a guy who already was a very polarizing personality. And in fact, following the fight on Saturday, I applauded him via Twitter saying, "Hey, Jon, congratulations. I love this version of Jon Jones, embracing the hate, because to me that seemed like the most comfortable Jon Jones." And so now I wonder what the future holds, and whether this is going to be all but forgotten soon enough, and we continue, because it does. There seems to be some double standards when you look at the marijuana test, when you look at people who've been fired for far less egregious situations in terms of what we're dealing with there now. But when you look at it from the way it is right now, it was an out-of-competition drug test. Out of competition is 12 hours before, or 12 days before the fight, I believe, and hours after the fight. And so it's a mess. That's all I can say about it. I get frustrated even talking about it because I really do love and care deeply about mixed martial arts, but boy, does this sport do a good job of shooting itself in the foot. And when it comes to performance-enhancing drugs or drug issues of any type, it needs to be eradicated, and the commissions need to be overhauled, and everyone's got to be on the same page, or what's the point, really? This is, it's not good.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Now, unfortunately, we are running short on time, so before we go, Mr. Ranallo, I got a game I want to play with you that I think you're going to like. I've got a list of hypothetical dream matches of pro wrestlers, and so I'd like you to tell me who would win these matches, considering if they were in their prime. Who would be the winner? So let me run these at you. I got, on one side, Legion of Doom taking on the Dudley Boys. Who would win that matchup?
I think it would be a double countout in one of the wildest brawls in professional wrestling history, and probably feature Bubba Ray Dudley going through a couple of tables from maybe the highest point of the Empire State Building. How does that sound?
That sounds painful. That sounds really painful.
No, I think that would be a very entertaining, crowd-pleasing double countout in a wild brawl.
Yes. Let's go on the opposite spectrum of that side. Let's say Prince Devitt or Finn Balor, whatever you want to call him, taking on Dynamite Kid in his prime. Who takes that one?
Fantastic match. I wish I could see it. I would have to go, again, kids in their teens and 20s now will say Finn Balor. I'm sure Dynamite Kid was one of my favorites growing up, and again, a guy who revolutionized the business. I think it would be a fantastic match, a learning experience for Prince Devitt, but Dynamite Kid would pick up the win with that diving headbutt.
All right, and how about...
Which, obviously, now we are learning more and more, not the best for anyone to do with all of the issues about concussions and head trauma, but that's how I see that one ending.
Yeah, very true. Very good point. All right, how about this one? I got the Battle of the Kings, Harley Race versus Triple H. Who wins that one?
Man, I know that Triple H has taken the running knee lift from Harley, and Harley, one of the legitimate tough guys, the street fighters, a guy who added a lot of prestige to the NWA title. Triple H, I think at times, Triple H is. I thought there was a run where he was a very good worker, and at other times maybe. I don't want to say lazy, but didn't always deliver the way he could. If it's booked under WWE, well, we know how that's going to go. But if it was on neutral ground, I would look for Harley Race to sneak out the win. The veteran teaching the youngster.
All right, now one last one. Let's call this one the hypothetical championship title match of the universe. Ric Flair taking on Mitsuhara Misawa.
Wow, beautiful. I would say Ric Flair with a reversal. The figure four leg lock gets reversed. He's street. He reaches the bottom rope, selling like only Ric Flair can sell. Gets the break. The knee is, he's selling the knee. He's screaming at the referees in pain. Misawa comes over, and you got yourself a side cradle, small package, surprise, 1, 2, 3, and then the arrogant Ric Flair takes the microphone and goes into his best version of the, kiss-stealing, wheeling-dealing, limousine-flying, jet-riding son of a gun. Woo.
And the crazy part is I could actually see him really doing that if that match was ever booked, and unfortunately it won't be, but I could totally see that happening. That's the perfect finish.
Was that not the most understated impression of Ric Flair you have ever heard in your life?
I've heard understated further, but that's pretty good. That's pretty understated.
Far be it from Mauro Ranallo to be understated, but there you go.
This is a first. This is we should tell the Guinness books about this one. That's a record breaker right there.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Ranallo, I could do this for hours.
Man, it's all passion.
Yes, we could do this for hours. We should definitely do this again sometime. New Japan Pro Wrestling Show premiering on Access TV January 16. Tune in, check it out, listen to Mauro and Josh Burnett talk at New Japan. It's amazing. Definitely worth checking out. You guys are doing a great job. I look forward to more episodes. And, like I said, we got to do this again sometime, Mr. Ranallo.
Oh, I appreciate the interest and the great questions. And, I love talking about combat sports, especially the history, and that's why too. And I apologize, maybe I wasn't as articulate or clear as I could be on the Jon Jones matter. It's just that I'm as someone who makes my living in this business and really respecting these performers and these athletes. It's so depressing, I guess is the word, that the MMA news, the headlines the last year, of all about injuries or drug tests, and there's so much to celebrate when you look at just what these people are capable of. And I hope as we move forward that the powers that be are going to do whatever is necessary to do. And if it takes spending money, then spend the money. You need to clean up the sport, and whether it's through working with organizations maybe like Avada or whatever, there has to be a change. And I'm talking across the gamut of combat sports, boxing, MMA, you name it. We need to clean up the sport. There needs to be zero tolerance for performance-enhancing drugs. And I just hope Jon Jones, again, because there remains so many questions, I just hope he finds the peace of mind that he needs, because he's a father first to his kids. I know he's got a fiance, so he has responsibilities to his own family and to himself. And fighting has to be on the back burner right now, and that's how it should be. If he does have the issues that it seems to be he does with drugs, people think maybe he may have checked in as a PR move. Again, the cynic in me says, yeah, maybe so, but I want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt.
I think we can say 2015, no matter what, not just for Jon Jones, but for the entire MMA spectrum, it's going to be a year of major change and transition, and it's going to be an interesting year, that's for sure.
Yeah, I hope it's at the end of the year about what happened inside the cage instead of what's happened outside. But all the best for the new year to you and your listeners, and I hope you'll join Josh Barnett and I beginning Friday, January 16th, 9 o'clock and 6 Pacific on Access TV, as we bring you again. Yes, this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The best professional wrestling on the planet. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Can't wait.
All right, Mr. Ranallo, thank you very much. Appreciate the time today.
Thank you, sir.